Hey guys, welcome back and welcome if you are new. My name's Mandy and today we are basically going to go over my system for my different to-do lists. Hopefully you clicked on this video because doing a to-do list sounds easy, right? You just write a list. However, the struggles that I come up with when I think, oh, it's easy, just write a list, because I do like lists, is if I write one big list and things start getting checked off, I find that I don't go back to it very often because those few things that didn't get checked off are most likely things that I really didn't want to do. That's why they were left to be the last, right? So I am not doing this video to tell you guys I have all of that together and I have the perfect answer for you if you struggle with the same challenge. But what I did want to share with you guys is that I do have that challenge and some little things that I am doing currently that really help me with the different lists that I have. So a couple of different things that I wanted to mention are I have a few different types of lists. And I'm not just saying like a category list. Of course, like category lists are great. Having different types of lists are great. Having types of lists for how long something will take is really great. Having a list for your daily items is really great. So a few of the things that I have that really help me, that I cannot show you here though, is I do keep lists on my phone. Again though, I find that the more lists I put on my phone, if it's not something that I go back to and I make sure that I hold myself accountable to do that, it ends up getting, like I forget about it after a week or so. And then those last few things that were on the list just never get done. However, I do have, I have been keeping to this, and I do have a list on my phone within my notes that is called dailies. And that section of lists or category, it's like a folder, that actually has many times been getting done more than anything else I could just put in like my random notes folder. So that's very helpful when I'm out and about and I don't have my planner or anything like that. I don't prefer to keep digital and paper lists. However, sometimes that happens because when I'm out and about, I make a list. And then when I get home, I kind of have to transfer that list to my ongoing lists in here. So the first list I'm actually going to show you guys is that I have like an ongoing annual list. Hang on, it's right here. And this is something that I just, I kind of got done with my other annual list, and I started this one. And when I say done with my other list, it doesn't mean I completed all the items. I just had to transfer a couple onto here, and now I have a nice new list to show you guys here. And I am just adding on to this. If I think of things randomly and I can't go over to my planner, I put it in my phone and then it ends up on here. So these are some things that I need to, that I've been, because we're coming to the end of the homeschool year. So I'm definitely thinking of those kind of things. And then our albums, stuff, these are just long projects. Now they're not, maybe not physical projects, maybe some of them are very physical, but things that you don't really think are going to, you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of supplies or anything, but you really just have to sit down and get them done. And that's kind of what I've made sure to put on here, because those kind of things can sometimes not be put on the list because it sounds so easy just sitting there searching through photos on your phone, but it takes a long time, and I found that I really need to write those down somewhere. So this is my page that I have for different categories, and so far I have chosen to do a homeschool category and admin project category. Of course, we do have some home projects and stuff, but I find that when I just start writing down too many things, it becomes a list that I don't, get to or don't revisit. So for right now, this is what that one is. So this is my ongoing, I don't want to say annual list, but it pretty much doesn't really have to get done, within a day or a week or a month. So anything longer than a month, I like keeping here. So then we come to my weekly spread. And these are the ones that I keep myself more accountable for you know, like day-to-day stuff or something I need to do within the week. Now, this is the part where I was kind of referring to at the beginning of the video that gets challenging because you have a long list of things that need to get done. Maybe it's okay if they don't get done within the week, but what do you do? I haven't punched it or anything, but my next week's spread is going to be this. So here is what it looks like, you know, all written in. And then next week, I'm going to start off blank and it's going to look like this. So as you can see, I have my day-to-days and then I have my list side. So what I like to do for the week is I like to take any of my to-do items and put them over here. And that is a list that if I have to rewrite it again, I need to sit there and say, like, do I need to get this done right now? Or is it something that I'm just not visiting because it's really not that important? I had it on here because I thought it sounded great to do it, but maybe it's just not something that's super important. So I always keep a weekly list that I can see in my weekly layout. So if I happen to have a day that's not so busy or something, I can grab, you know, an item from my to-do list. Typically that does not happen, and that's kind of why we get, you know, some unchecked items. But I do think it's important for me to have an ongoing weekly list, and then whatever doesn't get done, I will either analyze when I'm putting my week together, my new week, I will analyze whether I really need to put that on the new week or not, or if it's just not getting done because, like, clean out summer bags. We're not quite in summer here yet, but this has been on my list for 2 weeks, and I probably should set some time aside for that. But knowing that we're not quite in summer, it's, you know, made me procrastinate. But it's definitely something I do want to get to in the next month. So I'm going to do, you know, analyze all that information and decide to probably keep it on the list. Some of these things don't get checked off, but they do get done. Like, for example, I already did this. I already did that. And I'm going to be doing that in a few minutes. So as you can see, you just kind of having those things written down so you can get to them in one spot for the week, to me, is really helpful. Now, the other type of list that I need is daily lists. So what do I need to get done on that day? So that's where this side comes into play, and I'll kind of show you the week that I just was in. And as you can see, Tuesday was just a full-on, you know, get things done day. I even ran out of space, but I didn't want to put it somewhere else. I really wanted it to be here, and I got a lot done. So sometimes though, I will write them down and not get them done, but the next day comes and I will just go back to the list. Like, for example, on Wednesday, I did a couple of these things on Wednesday. So having them on here and just going back to the list from the previous day or days has been really helpful for me too. That way I don't have to rewrite them on a new piece of paper or whatever. And I can see that the boxes weren't checked and that they still need to get done. For example, today is a Friday, but I have done those things. I've sort of done this. And that's the list I'm working with for today. So having a list for the day is really nice. I realize that this isn't always enough space for what you have to do in the day. There's a lot of things I do in the day that I don't need to write down, but these are the things that are out of my ordinary routine. And then my other way of keeping lists are for things, how do I describe this? Things that don't necessarily have to get done right now or today. It's a task that has a lot of multiple tasks within it. So for me, that would be like Etsy and YouTube. So for example, I cannot sit down and film, edit, upload, create the thumbnail, and share it, a YouTube video, all in one sitting. I just can't. I don't have the hours in in one time setting to do that. So how I have to do it is I have to write down each sub-step. So for example, I have that right here, and I love using little mini sheets from the Happy Planner, or just creating, my own. I have a bunch of them in the front because, as you guys know, I like to Frankenplan. So I just go in the front, and sometimes I'll grab a classic paper. I have, what is this? This skinny the skinny, I think it is. But my favorites are these mini ones because I don't feel like I'm wasting them because just the amount of space. So it just depends on how much I need to write down. But what I have chosen and really love doing this week and the past few weeks is writing down the category at the top and then writing down the next step that I need to get done. So for example, I had made an annual tracker video that just actually went up today, but when you guys are seeing this, it'll have gone up a couple days ago. And I needed to finish editing that video. So when I was done with the previous step, what I did was I wrote down what the next step would be. So finish editing annual tracker video. Okay, so I did that. And then after I finished it, immediately I went to this list and I told myself what I need to do next. And that was upload, it was already uploaded, but get the details and schedule it. So that is actually completed. And then my next step was, since the whole video had been done, and I usually just write down like sharing it the day of on my list, or I just kind of know, so it's not something I have to write down on here. My next big step for YouTube would be to film, and it happens to be this video right here. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm probably going to try to film a couple other videos. Once I'm done with that, I will check them off and then write down the next step of item for the things I need to do next, probably for these videos. So as you can see here, I actually do have 3 to-do items, but it all has to do with filming. So basically I'm filming, and then, you know, I have these sub lists under filming. And then after I'm done filming, I will need to check these off as long as I was able to film them all. And then I would write down the next detailed thing to do. This has been really helpful because I basically focus on that one item when I have the time. So I don't work on YouTube and Etsy every single day. I just cannot. But there are about 3 or 4 days of the week that I have a small window of time, about 20 minutes, to work on something. And that's what I'm doing in order to get to the things that I need to do that aren't my everyday around the house, you know, taking care of my family and my kids kind of thing. I do that here. Now, you will also see I do put it on my day. So for example, today I knew I was going to have a little bit of time to film, so I wrote film in there. But it's not going to have the details of what this has for the next step, filming, or I could have just written, you know, YouTube right here. And then I would know to go to my little insert here and say, what is the next step that I need to work on for YouTube? I have found that when I try to write down a whole bunch of different things for YouTube, I kind of look through the list and then pick out the things that I want to do. And that's not what I find to be very productive. For me, it's giving myself one thing. Don't think about anything else. That's the one thing you need to do next. And I've been doing it. This is a newer, fresher sheet of paper, as you can see, but I have been doing this with at least YouTube and Etsy for a while. I also have a couple YouTube notes here anyways, because sometimes it is good, it's always good, to brain dump and write it all out. But when you're actually trying to get something done and you are trying to be productive, you're making a specific to-do list for that category and then writing down the one thing you need to do. And then once you get that done, checking it off and then writing down the next thing that needs to get done. Not multiple things, but the next thing. So as you can see, I've been doing that with Etsy as well. And I will tell you guys, this week, I got 2 things out on my shop. I got my annual budget tracker and I got my monthly vision board. Now, I'm just saying, I had to share this with you guys because I felt like I was doing this for a while, but this week I just finally felt good about it. The other thing that has helped me to actually do these items is, like I mentioned, I have a small window of time, or I have actually set aside a small window of time each day. Now, yes, there are other things I could be doing during this segment of time, but I told myself I need to focus on it, and I didn't make it very long. So I take my daughter up around 1 o'clock before her nap. To be honest, usually it's a little after 1. It just happens that way. If I can really get it down to 1, I would have more time for this, but I told myself by 2 o'clock, so however long it takes me to lay my daughter down for her nap, I stay upstairs, I work on these things, and then by 2 o'clock, I go downstairs and we complete homeschool and play and we, get on with our family routine. So telling myself that that is my only time throughout the day that I really have to work on the actual sit down, open up the computer or the planner and, get things working on has really helped. So assigning time for the to-dos, making a longer ongoing to-do list, making a weekly ongoing to-do list for yourself, having a spot for your dailies or a piece of paper for your dailies, and then having an actual categorized to-do list with the next step or room to write the next step. Don't write them all down. Maybe do a brain dump where you can, but actually making it to where you have to write the next step. So for example, I filmed this video because I'm doing it now. I will film a couple more. And when I'm done, after checking these off, I will write down my next step right here. I will not write down 5 more steps. I will just write down my next step, which will most likely be to edit. I know I'm cheating, but this for the sake of the video. So edit videos. And then if I actually have to write each one of them down, because I can't edit all of them at one time, I'll do, sub boxes like that, but that's it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that it was a good little tips for your to-do list. I'm curious though, I know this isn't the only way. This is just what works for me and I love it. What works for you guys? Let us know down below. Do you guys use any of these tips already? Do you see yourself trying something out that I just mentioned? What do you guys use that really is helpful for you guys? Do you guys set alarms? I also want to know if you guys set alarms for what you have to do. For example, if you want something done, like I said, I set aside time at 2 o'clock, and I spend probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Do you have an alarm with a to-do list? Let me know, because that's another tip I think is a good tip. I just don't do that. So hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know by hitting the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you guys for the next one. Have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day. Bye, guys.